This is Carson TV News, your capital city news source.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Carson TV News, your source for Nevada's capital city news. I'm Courtney Bloomer. It's Groundhog Day, and in Pennsylvania, Punxsutawney Phil saw his shadow this morning, signaling 6 more weeks of winter. While the northeastern portion of the country may have had their fill of snow, here in the shadow of the Sierra Nevada, we're still waiting for winter to start. We've had a very dry season so far, and most area residents would welcome even a hint of the winter that, so far, has failed to materialize. What does the drought really mean to Carson City? Here, reporter Jeff Fass talks with Carson City Public Works Operations Manager Curtis Horton on the subject.
Hi, and thank you for joining us. I'm here today with Curtis Horton, Public Works Operations Chief here in Carson City. Curtis is the doctor of water. With drought conditions looming this summer, we thought it'd be a good idea to talk with someone about our water conditions, and we couldn't find a better man than Curtis. So, Curtis, what's the drought like? What are we facing here in terms of water coming off the Sierras?
Right. Well, the Sierra snowpack is not looking that great, as you well know. I think the overall snowpack in Nevada is around 25% of normal, which is, indicative of drought conditions, And I think we're going to experience a decrease in surface water early in the season as we move into the pumping cycle, which is going to cause us to go and turn on more wells and support the system with more and more groundwater. But those are the kind of things that we're going to run into as a result of the drought.
Okay. And how much of that surface water do we usually use? What's our usual?
We try to maximize all of the surface water that's available to us. We'll pump it right to the bitter end until it gets down to such a low flow that it's not economical to treat it anymore. We also run into high flows as the weather starts to warm up and the snowpack that's there starts to melt off in a hurry. And sometimes that water will come down the hill so quickly it'll pick up sand and sediment. Turbidity will get so high in the water that we really can't treat it. So some of it will actually go by, and then once the flows settle down, we'll turn it back into the ponds and process it.
I see. Okay. And so then obviously we've got some pumps and wells that we will drink and water our lawns with through the summer.
Right.
What's the capacity on that? How are we doing?
We're doing really well on the groundwater right now, but what will happen over a period of time as you go through cycle after cycle of drought, you'll start to see the groundwater levels go down because there's no recharge that's occurring. It doesn't happen very rapidly, but it does occur. So it's something that we keep an eye on. We try to monitor. We sound all of our wells on a daily basis. We watch our pumping levels and our static levels, and we try to utilize that water in a very responsible way.
Okay. And so now we've had alternating water days and things like that. Are we looking for more of that this summer?
Yes, we're going to continue with odd even watering. It starts June 1 and goes to September 30th. No watering on Mondays. No watering between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. And what that does is help us manage our system. Without a huge capital investment into the system, more wells, more piping, more storage and all that, we can't water every day. It helps us balance the system and manage it overall. So
okay.
That's one of the techniques that we use for system operation, and it also helps us in drought conditions by monitoring and controlling that flow.
Okay. So odd even watering days, the Nevada Appeal and Public Works websites are going to give us that information as we get closer to that.
Right.
We'll also be broadcasting that information here on Carson TV News. So that's one of the sources for how to water this summer.
Sure. And if you have questions about the watering cycle and what's going on, you can always call the office, 887-2355, and talk to any of our people there. They can help you out. We're also going to have Water Watch patrols out as soon as the season starts, and they'll be around. And our primary goal is to educate the public and to keep them in compliance. It's not necessarily to go out and find people. What we want to do is teach people. We want to help them do it right.
Okay. Thank you, Curtis, for coming in, talking to us about the drought. For more information, you can contact Curtis's office at the phone number. Again, the phone number?
887-2355.
And you can check out watering schedules on their website also. Thank you very much, and keep us green.
Will do.
Thanks. The Earth Spirit Fair is coming this weekend to Fuji Park. Here to tell you more is Liz Andrews, the founder of the Esperanza Foundation, which is hosting the fair.
Hi, my name is Liz, and I'm here to invite you to our Earth Spirit Fair, held right here in Carson City The event will be held at Fuji Exposition Hall, February 7th and 8th from 10 to 4. This is actually a true Northern Nevada event. We have healers, readers, and vendors coming from all over the area to celebrate a new perspective on the path to your well-being. We also have interactive workshops available every 45 minutes for all kinds of healing modalities and things you can do to further your path to your own well-being. We have a website set up at earthspiritfair.net for you to visit for all the wonderful things we're having. Thanks a lot. Hope to see you there. Spread the love.
Doreen Mack is the host of our new program, Carson Memories. Here are some highlights from our first interview with Monty Fast, a longtime resident of Carson City.
Hello, I'm Doreen Mack and I am host of Carson Memories. This show will bring you natives of Carson City and people that have grown up here to give a story of their past and the past history of Carson City that little know about. So our guest here is Monty Fast, who is the executive director, or who was the executive director of Fish for 20 years. Monty, please tell us why and what brought you to Carson City.
Well, I love Carson City. I traveled nationally for the Presbyterian Church for about a decade out of Philadelphia. So I always make jokes and say, if I were a Catholic, I wouldn't worry about purgatory. I've done mine, you know.
Yes?
Philadelphia is not the friendly environment that you find in the west coast of the United States, especially in Carson City.
This is true.
So I knew a man in Carson City while I was traveling out of Philadelphia, and I hired him. And he used to do some of my West Coast appointments for me, so it'd save me plane tickets.
Do you have this man's name?
Yes.
Yes?
In fact, a lot of our listeners would remember Jack Blakey.
Oh, I knew who he was.
Jack Blakey. He started out as a musician in the school systems, married the preacher's daughter from the Presbyterian Church, had a wonderful family. And then he became the assistant superintendent of schools.
Yes.
And that's what he was when he finally retired. And it was shortly after he retired that I hired him, and he was doing some work for me. I was living in Philadelphia, and he was living here. And one day I said to him, Jack, I'd give an arm and a leg to get out of Philadelphia and get back to the West Coast. And he said, well, interestingly enough, there is a job here in Carson City that you'd be eminently qualified for. Why don't I put your name in for it? I said, that's me. You're knocking on your screen door, Jack. Right now, I'm on my way.
That's wonderful.
I love Carson City because I used to go to the Ormsby House and eat Sunday buffet. They had a grand buffet in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, so it was really great buffet.
They did. It's missed.
Harp music and ice sculpture and the finest foods, liver pate
And that grand staircase.
Grand staircase. Oh, it was grand.
Yeah,
grand
it
place.
was.
What a great way to chronicle some of our community's rich history. To see the entire interview, tune into Carson Memories right here on Carson TV. Check out listings on carsontv.org. The Nevada State Legislature kicks off today in Carson City. The session will be dominated by talk of taxes and education. The elected representatives in both houses will have a busy few months as over 200 pieces of legislation are already in the hopper. Check in weekly with Carson TV News for updates about all the proceedings at the state capitol. In this week's edition of the Property Perspective segment, Garrett Lapierre brings us advice on getting started on your search for a new home.
Hello, I'm Garrett Lapierre, real estate agent with Century 21 Jim Wilson Realty here in beautiful Carson City, Nevada. And you're watching the Property Perspective segment on Carson TV News. As always, we always welcome your tips, suggestions, topics you'd like to see covered by just emailing us at carsontvnews@gmail.com. So it's the start of the new year here in January of 2015, and everyone likes to make their New Year's resolutions and set goals for the coming year. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about setting yourself some real estate goals for the coming year and how to not only set those goals, but to see those goals through with action. You may be a renter that's looking to buy for the first time. You may be someone who did a foreclosure or short sale in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. You may be looking to come back into the market. You also may be someone who already owns a property that now has equity in it and want to move up into a bigger, better property and have the ability to do so because you have equity now. So the first thing that you want to do is clearly define your goal. What is it that you truly want to do? Is it that you want to buy your first property? Is it that you want to sell your home and move into a home that's 1,000 square feet larger or 750 square feet larger? Or maybe it's just a bigger lot. The thing when you're setting your goals is to be specific. Make sure that you are very specific as to, I want a 4-car garage, or I want an additional 1,000 square feet of living space. Whatever that particular goal is, it's important to be specific and then write that goal down. Secondly, the first place to start whenever starting a home search in real estate is one of two places, either with a mortgage lender or a real estate agent. If you start with the lender, that lender is going to be able to answer the biggest question for you, which is the money question. How much can you afford? How much is it going to cost you to borrow the money? And what is your interest rates going to be? There's a ton of down payment assistance programs out there right now, and there's also some very creative conventional financing with as little as 5% down. If you start with the real estate agent, that's perfectly fine too. Any real estate agent worth their salt is going to point you to a lender as their first directive for you to do. The lender is your first step in this whole process. Whether you get there by going to them directly or by talking to an agent first, it's important that you start with the money. You may be able to qualify for $500,000, but you don't want a $4,000 a month mortgage payment. You want to keep it in the $2,000 a month range. Once you have the money dialed in, what you're willing to pay, what your loan's going to be for, that's when the home search is going to start. Okay? One of the best things for you to do when you speak with your lender is to already have a budget outlined. What your current budget is, what you spend on everything from groceries to changing the oil in your car to how much gas you spend a week. It's important to know those numbers so you can put together a realistic budget moving forward, whether you're looking to buy for the first time, whether you're looking to upsize or downsize. So coming into 2015, it's important to set those goals, have them be clear, specific goals, and most importantly, write them down. As always, thank you for watching Property Perspectives, and you make it a great day.
The attention of many local sports fans turned this past week to the Super Bowl, but there was plenty going on in local sports action as well. The Carson Senators wrapped up Winterfest last week in hoops action against Amani Ranch. Here with the highlights and all your other local sports, here's Keith.
The Senators had mixed results last week against arch rival Douglas High. The Carson High boys basketball team trounced the Tigers by a final score of 48-23 on Tuesday, leaving no doubt who was the better team on that night. The girls team had it a little tougher though, dropping their game against the Tigers 64-52. On Friday night, it was much the same for the boys team, with the Senators rolling over the Mustangs of Amani Ranch 51-29. While the girls fared much better in their game against the Mustangs. The Senators pulled out a 37-35 win, thanks to Maddie Preston's game-winning layup in the final seconds. In wrestling, the Senators won 11 of 14 matches last Wednesday to best Douglas 56-16, giving Carson a 4-1 record in the Sierra League. The WNC softball and baseball seasons got underway this past weekend. And in softball, the Wildcats faced off against Central Arizona last Friday, a team that is ranked 12th in the nation. The Arizona team scored twice in the 5th inning to take the lead 15-14, which would turn out to be the final score in a game shortened by rain. The rain also forced the cancellation of 2 other games the Wildcats were scheduled to play on Friday. They did play 3 on Saturday, starting the day off with a 5-2 loss to El Paso, then defeating Yavapai College by a score of 6-2, then finishing up the day with a loss to the 3rd-ranked Arizona Western College 11-1. In baseball, the Wildcats got off to a great start to their season, defeating South Mountain Community College 9-7 and 3-0 in a doubleheader that was scheduled for Friday but got pushed to Saturday due to rain. Then they split another doubleheader on Sunday, with South Mountain taking the first game 15-10 and WNC coming out on top 4-3 in the second to finish out the series 3-1. After losing 4 out of 5 to South Mountain last year, this season is looking pretty bright for the Wildcats.
Parents from across the Silver State came together to discuss education options for Nevada students at the Capitol Complex Amphitheater last Wednesday morning. Speakers explained their thoughts and experiences with charter schools, homeschooling, and other non-traditional means of education, as well as traditional public schools.
Being able to choose and go to Oasis, I have been just so blessed and lucky that we were offered that choice.
So I am a homeschool mom. I am also on the Charter School Authority Board, so I love charter schools. I love the ability for our Nevada students to be able to make a choice in education. I'm from a long line of educators. I'm not anti-school. I'm not anti-public school, anti-charter school. I'm not anti any type of school. What I am is pro my child. I think we can all agree we're here because we're pro our children. Our homeschooling laws in Nevada are some of the best in the nation. Our laws are based on our Constitution. We've had great relationships with our legislators here, and we're so thankful for them. In Nevada, the parent has the right to direct the child's education. Now, this takes time and dedication, but anyone can do it. To be clear, homeschooling is the one educational option that is not government controlled. It's parent controlled. I heard a little woo over there.
As long as I am with you, my heart continues to beat.
Are you looking for a fun and educational opportunity for your family? Deborah Stevenson of the Nevada State Museum has some information about the upcoming Family Fun Day featuring rock art. It's coming up this Saturday, February 7th.
Hi, I'm excited to tell you about some upcoming programs at the Nevada State Museum in Carson City. This Saturday, February 7th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., we're featuring Family Fun Saturday. We'll have fun with rock art and coyote stories. Have you ever wondered what is rock art? What does it mean? How old is it? You can find out this answer and more by coming this Saturday, participate in all kinds of crafts and projects. Make a rock art stencil, make a rock art rubbing, participate in a group panel or mural project, and discuss with the Nevada Rock Art Foundation all of your questions about rock art. Again, this is coming up Saturday, February 7th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Nevada State Museum, Carson City. And we're also doing coyote stories with puppets for the younger set, so all ages are welcome to have fun. I also want to let you know that starting on Tuesday, February 10th, we have a program on training to be a tour guide. So if you're interested in that, contact me. My name is Deborah Stevenson. Phone number is 775-687-4810, extension 237. We're located at 600 North Carson Street. You can always look for the website, museums.nevadaculture.org, or contact me, dstevenson@nevadaculture.org.
After a recent remodel of their facility on South Carson Street near the Train Museum, the Carson City Chamber of Commerce officially unveiled their updated space, including the Artist Showcase Gallery and Shop, with an open house last Saturday. The venue features works by talented local artists as well as a wealth of information about the Carson City area.
The Chamber is very excited about having another outlet in Carson City for the many wonderful artists that reside here. We have glass artists, we have metal artists, we have people who make earrings, soaps, and the whole bit, all made right here in northern Nevada.
I'm just really thrilled with the idea that the artwork that has been put on the freeway has been so accepted by the town and by tourists that come here that they want it and ask the Chamber for something that they could buy as a memento to remind them of Carson City and of the landscaping on the freeway.
My name is Robert St. Clair, and I come up with the concept of custom metal graphics, and that's where I take metal and artwork on the computer and go from intangible to something tangible, something you can hold.
Your last chance to practice that triple sow cow is fast approaching. The closing date for the downtown Carson City Arlington Square Ice Rink is Sunday, February 8th. Thanks for tuning in for this week's edition of Carson TV News. I'm Courtney Bloomer. We'll see you next week.